So this video today was supposed to be a walkthrough of the 4.6 patch notes, and those will be released later on today, but instead I'm going to turn my focus to a new update that we've had from Adam Freeman, the Battlefield 5 community manager, about some expectations that we should have for update 4.6. And this comes on the eve of the 4.6 patch going live. It's going live tomorrow on the 26th of September. But before we get into that, this video today is sponsored by Elgato and their brand new HD60S Plus capture card. This thing takes recording to the next level. The S Plus now supports capturing HDR content in 1080p 60fps, and it can pass through up to 4K 60fps with HDR enabled as well. So that's quite a lot of power in a very small package. For more information, head to the link at the top of the description. Okay then, let's get into this little message that we've had from DICE. I'm going to read it straight up to you first of all, and then we're going to discuss it afterwards. Hey folks, later today I'll be posting our 4.6 update notes. Prior to that, I wanted to set some expectations for the content previously shared for Chapter 4, and give you some insight on what to expect with this update. Update 4.6. This launches tomorrow. We've seen positive results on the top 3 issues that we've been tracking since the launch of 4.4, and we're confident that we're seeing a resolution to the high ping and Firestorm loot issues that have been affecting players this month. A big thanks for your patience whilst we got those resolved. There's a ton of other fixes and improvements in this month's update, so check back later today for the full notes. I'll be doing a video on that likely tomorrow. Sundan. No update is complete without some Sundan. This map will go live on Conquest and Breakthrough following the release of this week's update on all 3 platforms. Private games. Our September update will not enable private games as we'd hoped. It's absolutely coming to Battlefield 5, but we've slowed our progress here in order to keep focus on fixing issues and ensuring that you're receiving the right standard of quality with each update. Our next blog from the development team will be detailing the full feature set that we're expecting with the first release of private games. This feature is now planned to release during Chapter 5. Battlefest. It's coming back for the lead up to the Pacific, and it will feature in-game challenges that will allow players to unlock the Trench Carbine, the Masson MG, as well as other rewards that we'll be detailing closer to the start of Battlefest. Firestorm loot changes and respawn mechanic. In blogs published after EA Play, we said that we were working on introducing a radically different looting system, as well as a respawn mechanic similar to the one found in Apex. These plans are now presently on hold and are being re-evaluated whilst we focus our efforts on restoring quality to the core of the Battlefield experience. Our update notes will be published here on the subreddit within the next few hours. We'll have them live in the game and on the Battlefield website tomorrow morning. Right then, topic number 1, update 4.6, launching tomorrow. There really wasn't much more time to get this patch out in September. Patches rarely ever go live on Friday, and there's only one day next week that's actually in September, and that's a Monday, and yet again, not really much happens on a Monday for Battlefield 5. So if there was going to be any day that this patch was going to go live, it was going to be Thursday, and that's now been confirmed, and Freeman has confirmed a resolution to the high ping issues and the Firestorm loot issues that were the major problems with update 4.4. So it's good to see those high priority issues being fixed. Next, Sundan. It's brilliant, it's finally here. It's only taken 3 months extra past the launch date of this map to get it ready for Battlefield 5. If you didn't know the reason why Sundan had been delayed so much, there has been a massive graphical issue with the larger game modes for this map that has rendered the map unplayable on those game modes, and of course DICE didn't want to ship a map that didn't work properly. They've had far too many issues already, so they just held the map back until they could get it fixed, and it seems they finally got it fixed, which is really good news. And what's better news is this is arguably the best map to come at this time. It's a vehicle-focused, all-out warfare map. We've had lots of infantry-focused maps pretty much since June when Mercury launched, so a good few months of just pure infantry combat, basically. And now we're finally getting a much more open warfare style of map, and that is obviously going to appeal to a few more players out there. There is a section of the community that's been asking for vehicle focus for a long time. Mercury did kind of provide that a little bit. There are tanks on the ground and planes in the sky, but in general, the last proper vehicle-focused map we had was Panzerstorm, and that released all the way back in December 2018. So it's been a long, long time for the vehicle players out there, but our Sundan is finally launching on the big game modes, which is great news. But unfortunately, that's kind of where the good stops with this message, and then everything sort of gets bad and goes downhill. So let's move on to private games. Announced in early 2019, and then it was set for a September release, this feature is now being delayed into Chapter 5, and that's coming at some point from October onwards. We don't have a solid release date for Chapter 5, and that means we now don't have a release date for private games either. Now, I've said many times in the past for Battlefield 5 that delaying something is the right thing to do if it needs more development time, or it's not working as intended, it's buggy. That's fine, delay it for that reason and get it sorted. But where I take issue here is the fact that DICE has consciously chosen to only now, right at the end of the intended launch window, to let people know that the feature is being delayed. They left it until the very last moment before letting players down once again. This is frankly unacceptable, and within the context of Battlefield 5, you'd think that DICE would have learned from their past mistakes, but it seems that they've learned nothing. There are lots of players looking forward to what Private Games is going to bring to this game. They've been looking forward to it for months, and now on the eve of the update that's due to deliver the feature that they really want, they're let down. That's just ridiculous. It's unfair on players who've been waiting, who've been supporting the product whilst they wait. This kind of last-minute communication simply cannot continue, and we've had problems in the past with this, and we're seeing yet another one, and it's becoming really, really frustrating as a player to have to continue to deal with this. I understand that there are a lot of people involved with developing a video game. There are lots of different parts in that process, but keeping your players regularly updated is arguably one of the most important parts of a live service. Well, other than actually delivering the content that you say you're going to deliver. When we were told that Private Games was coming after the summer, during that summer we were supposed to be updated on the progress. That hasn't happened at all. Now we're seeing the feature delayed on the eve of its supposed launch. And it's not like DICE didn't just change things at the last minute, like we're now only just seeing a last minute bit of communication for it. If you look at the actual wording in the statement, they say, "We've slowed down our progress here in order to keep our focus on fixing issues." You don't just slow down development the day before the patch is due to go out. No, the feature has to be ready to go for the patch, and it has to be properly tested, or it won't work properly. So DICE has known for a while that they were going to delay this feature, and as I've said, they consciously waited until the very last moment before they told anybody. That's not only unacceptable, that's cowardly. Any delay is going to be met with disappointment, that's for sure. But DICE, you should be owning this situation. You should stand up and you should take the criticism. This is your issue. You should own the issue, apologise for it, and try not to do it again. But sadly, this isn't even the first time, second time, or third time we're seeing this happen. The same thing happened very recently with the 5v5 competitive game mode. We only found out at the very last minute that the feature wasn't coming. And I'm really starting to feel like this won't be the last time that we see it happen either. Moving on to the Firestorm loot changes and respawn mechanic. If you are a fan of the Firestorm Battle Royale game mode, this is obviously going to be bad news for you. I don't really see this as much of a change because we barely knew anything about this anyway. I'd actually forgotten that these two things were going to be worked on, but they're also being held so other things can be worked on. But once again, we're seeing this communication happen at the very last minute before these updates were supposed to be released. And that's really, really bad on DICE's part. It's not acceptable. It doesn't matter if I don't really like this part of the game. Other people do like this part of the game. So for those people, I understand your frustration. Yet again, you're seeing a feature that you were told was coming to the game at a certain point, now not coming to the game at that point, and these features are being re-evaluated as well. So that potentially means these things will never come to Firestorm, and that would be even worse if that were true. And then lastly, to add some more disappointment to all of the other disappointment that we've already had, it's now been confirmed that Operation Underground will indeed launch in October, as the initial Chapter 4 trailer stated. However, there is an issue with this because there is a more recent blog post that is still live on the Battlefield 5 website that says that this map will be delivered in September. Now, I think I figured out how DICE thinks they're going to get away with this. It's the wording. We're going to deliver the map in September. That is technically true. Operation Underground is part of Update 4.6. That is being delivered on the 26th of September, which is of course September, but it's not going to be activated until October, so I think they found a loophole and managed to put themselves in it. But the comment from Adam Freeman says that their plans haven't changed and the map will launch in October. But clearly the plans did change previously, because a blog post says you were going to deliver it in September. And I don't think that blog post was written to say, oh, we'll add it to the patch in September, but then we'll activate it in October. If that was the case, you should have written it in the blog post. If you're going to say that plans have never changed, you need to make sure that you didn't change your plans, because it's very clear here that you have changed your plans. And again, you're going to annoy even more people because you've done this. If there's anything that you as a player from Battlefield 5 can take from this message from DICE, it's that I don't really think anybody at DICE knows what the hell's going on with this game at the moment. There's information coming out at certain points which is being changed. There are things being left till the last minute before restating what's happening, or a new piece of information comes out at the very last minute. It's all over the place. This is a AAA development studio with nearly 2 decades of experience making video games. There is no reason on earth that the communication for this game should be as bad as it is. It's frankly unbelievable, and it's been going on for over 12 months. Battlefield 5 was announced in May 2018. We're now in September 2019, and I don't think there's a month that's gone by where the communication for this game has caused some kind of issue. It's absolutely unacceptable for a product of this level to be this badly handled. And if you're as annoyed as I am, then at this point, I cannot blame you. There is one thing I will say, however. This message doesn't appear to say that we're having problems with Update 4.6 and you should expect bugs. Nope, we've not seen any of that. There's no reason to expect that Update 4.6 should be anything other than a good patch for Battlefield 5. So you can forget all about the disappointment, take that all away. The actual Update 4.6 could well be a really good one for Battlefield 5. It's just unfortunately lacking private games, it's lacking the Firestorm updates, and it won't enable Operation Underground until October. It should still be a good patch, but I can now understand why some people would think this is not going to be a great patch for the game. But if you're at this point and you've got no optimism or patience left to deal with Battlefield 5, then, well, you know, I can't even say I'm surprised anymore. But thanks very much for watching. I hate being the bearer of bad news, especially for about the 60 millionth time for this game, but I've got to keep you guys updated. Can't have things going out there and you expecting content and then it doesn't arrive when you expect it. So I've got to keep you up to date. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.